Hi, in this lesson I'm going to show you the ice cream changes. Bit of an odd name, but it's a very common chord sequence going from the 50s all through popular music right up until today. I'm going to show you how to play it, how to understand it so that you can recognize it in lots of keys and play it in lots of keys. And then I'll give you some variations and lots of songs along the way that use it. The ice cream changes, what a weird name for a chord sequence. Nobody's really sure where it comes from. The one I prefer is that it's to do with it being simple and common. Quite often jazz musicians will just say to someone, oh, just give me the vanilla changes for that tune. And that just means give me the most basic chords that outline the harmony of that tune so that they can, dress them up and make them sound more jazzy. And the vanilla changes, the ice cream changes, these are 4 chords, they're fairly simple, there's nothing jazzy about them. So it could well be that the ice cream changes are just these nice, simple, commonly used chords, just like vanilla ice cream. You'll also hear it referred to as the 50s progression, which I don't really like that one because whilst it was very common in the 50s, as you'll see, it's also still very common now. And also for the same reason, it's often called the doo-wop changes because of the vocal harmony groups of that era that would play songs with this progression. But again, it's used for so much more. So how does it work? Well, I played at the beginning 4 chords that no doubt you'll be able to play. C, A minor, F, and G. And if you just play those, lots of songs will spring to mind. For example, it's when the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light you'll see. So that's Benny King's Stand By Me. But it's also Justin Bieber. Baby, 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 ooh. Baby, 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 ooh. It's exactly the same progression. It's Meghan Trainor's Dear Future Husband. It's Duke of Earl by Gene Chandler. It's Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes. And lots of other songs. And those songs all just use those 4 chords and no others. The timing might change. You might stay on each chord longer. You might end the progression with the chord you started on, or you might just loop around. But they're all those 4 chords in that order. So what are those 4 chords? Apart from C, A minor, F and G, what does this really mean? Because those songs aren't all in the key of C on the record. And how would you recognize them if you saw them written down in different keys? Well, the progression is actually 1, 6, 4, 5. Now, what on earth does that mean? Well, when we talk about a progression in Roman numerals like that, in numbers, it means that we're not really fixing it to a key. We're saying whatever key we are in, we're looking for the chords based on the first note of that scale of that key, the 6th, the 4th, and the 5th notes. So if we go through the scale of C, you'll see how this works out. C is 1, and that's our home. C, D, E, F, G, A is 6. The 6th chord is usually minor. The F, C, D, E, F, that's the 4 chord. And the G, C, D, E, F, G, the 5 chord. Now we don't have to memorize all of our scales to do that if we've got our circle of fifths handy. Because on our circle of fifths, if you look at your C, you'll notice that right below the C, we have the A minor. And just one step anti-clockwise of the C, we have the F, and one step clockwise of the C, we have the G. And that just so happens to be where the 1, 6, 4 and 5 chords fall on the circle of fifths. This is why the circle of fifths is so useful, because it puts chords together that frequently go together. But the real beauty is it doesn't matter where you put that little pattern on the circle. So Benny King's recorded version of Stand By Me is in the key of A. So the same pattern in the key of A would be A, our 1, whatever key we're in is the 1 chord. Right below that on your circle of fifths is F sharp, and that's the 6th chord in the key of A, F sharp minor. The 4 chord, one step anti-clockwise, is D, And the 5 chord, one step clockwise, is E. And then you can do the same pattern and play along with Benny King's recorded version. You can find it online, or if you've got it on a record somewhere. And that particular song goes through the chords and at the end goes back to the A and then starts all over again on the A. But if you know what the chords are, then you can probably play along by ear. Baby by Justin Bieber is in the key of E flat. Now don't let that panic you, and I'll show you the chord diagram so you don't have to worry about not being able to play them, but it's good to be able to recognise these things. In the key of E flat, that gives us E flat. But if you look right below your E flat, you'll see that there's a C minor. And if you look one step anti-clockwise, you'll see an A flat. And one step clockwise, you'll see a B flat. Dear Future Husband by Meghan Trainor changes key part way through. It starts off in the not very friendly key of D flat, but then moves to the much friendlier key of D. So let's work them both out. In the key of D flat, we're going to have D flat as our one chord. Then we're going to have a B flat minor. Then we're going to have a G flat. And then we're going to have an A flat. And as you can hear, it's the same song. We've just moved it to another key. A bit later on, it goes up to the key of D, which would give us D, B minor, G, and A. And they're all in that same pattern on the circle. You'll also find that Please Mr. Postman by the Marvelettes on record is in the key of D. It's not just good to be able to play these in lots of different keys, but also to be able to recognise when you see these songs written down that they are, even though they're in different keys, exactly the same thing. When you come across Ollie Murs' Dance With Me Tonight, it is almost identical to Meghan Trainor's Dear Future Husband. The Ollie Murs song has one little bit where it deviates from that chord sequence, just one small section, but the rest of it is identical to Dear Future Husband. But if it's in a different key, you might not spot that. So I've said lots of songs use this pattern. Not all of them use it exclusively, but they will use it for a big part of the song. So Teenager in Love uses it, but there's another section that's a little bit different. Same goes for Beyond the Sea, Blue Moon, This Boy by the Beatles, Earth Angel by the Penguins, Dance With Me Tonight by Ollie Murs, as I just mentioned, Run Around Sue by Dion, Why Do Fools Fall in Love by Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, Every Breath You Take by the Police, and songs from musicals as well. If you want to portray an era, as well as having the instrumentation and the arrangement of that era, having this chord sequence, put it together with some harmony vocals in the background and the right rhythm section, and people will start to believe that they are in that era. So if you've got a musical like Hairspray, there's a tune in that called Mama I'm a Big Girl Now, and Hairspray is set in the era where this was the popular music of the day. That song follows this chord progression. So does the dentist song in Little Shop of Horrors, wonderfully portrayed in the film version by Steve Martin playing the sadistic dentist Orin Scrivello. There are a couple of variations as well. The first one's very subtle. Sometimes that last chord can be played as a seventh. So C, A minor, F, G7. And that can be really useful. For example, if you're playing Stand By Me in the key of A, like on the record, you have A, F sharp minor, D, and instead of an E there, you can actually replace that E with an E7. And I think on the record, it actually is an E7. It's a very subtle change, but that seventh chord on the end, 99 times out of 100 will work great and quite often will sound a little better. Another variation is to take the 6 and the 4, the two middle chords, and flip them round the other way. So in the key of C, instead of C, A minor, F and G or G7, I can flip them round and I can have C, F, A minor and G or G7. And if I flip them round like that, I get things like More Than a Feeling. Same chords, but the two middle ones flipped around. Another song that does that is the Fine Young Cannibals' She Drives Me Crazy. She drives me crazy like no one else. It's a really useful chord pattern to have under your fingers. Have a look through your songbook and see how many songs you can find that use the ice cream changes. You know, they might be hidden in a different key, or there might be sections of the song that don't use them or use them but have changed the order around for a bridge, a middle eight, something like that. But see how many you can find. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.